Welcome to Earth Enigma, where all the Earth's mysteries unfold. Today we will discuss the water cycle. So what is the water cycle, you may ask? The water cycle is like a big natural recycling process that moves water all around the Earth. It has several steps, and it's really important because it helps provide all the water we need to live, from the water we drink to the rain that waters crops. Here's how it works. 1. Evaporation. Imagine the sun warming up a puddle after it rains. The heat from the sun makes the water in the puddle turn into vapor or steam and go up into the air. This process is called evaporation. It happens not just in puddles, but in all bodies of water like oceans, lakes, and rivers. 2. Transpiration. Plants also play a part in this. They soak up water from the soil through their roots and then release some of it as vapor into the air through their leaves. This is called transpiration. If you think about it, it's kind of like plants are breathing out water. 3. Condensation. Once water vapor gets up into the cooler parts of the atmosphere, it cools down and changes back into tiny droplets of liquid water. This is condensation. If you've ever seen a cold glass of water on a hot day, the droplets on the outside of the glass are a great example of condensation. Up in the sky, these tiny droplets come together to form clouds. 4. Precipitation. When those clouds get heavy enough, the water falls back down to Earth as precipitation, which can be rain, snow, sleet, or hail, depending on the temperature. 5. Collection or runoff. The water that falls to the Earth doesn't just stay where it lands. It starts moving and collects in oceans, rivers, lakes, and even underground. This is the collection part of the cycle. Some of it will evaporate again, and some will be used by plants, starting the cycle all over again. 6. Infiltration. Not all the water stays on the surface. Some of it soaks into the ground in a process called infiltration. This water can be stored in the ground for a long time and is an important source of water for wells and springs. So now let's dive deeper into how water changes in each step of the water cycle. It's like following the journey of a water droplet as it goes on an adventure around the Earth. 1. Evaporation. Think of water in a lake under the warm sun. As the sun heats the water molecules start moving faster and faster. When they move fast enough, they can escape from the liquid state of the water and rise into the air as an invisible gas called water vapor. This change from liquid to gas is what we call evaporation. 2. Transpiration. In plants, water moves from the roots to the leaves. Once it reaches the leaves, some of this water gets used in photosynthesis, where plants make their food using sunlight. But a lot of it evaporates from the surface of the leaves into the air. This special kind of evaporation from plants is called transpiration. It's like the plants are sweating water vapor. 3. Condensation. After the water vapor rises up into the air, it starts cooling down because the higher you go, the colder it gets. When it cools enough, the water vapor turns back into tiny droplets of liquid water. This process is the opposite of evaporation and is called condensation. These tiny droplets clump together around dust particles in the air, forming clouds or fog near the ground. 4. Precipitation. When those tiny droplets in clouds combine and grow bigger, they eventually get too heavy to stay up in the air. That's when they fall back down to the Earth as precipitation, which can be rain, snow, sleet, or hail, depending on how cold it is. Rain happens when the droplets are liquid. Snow, sleet, and hail form when the droplets freeze into ice on their way down because of cold temperatures. 5. Collection. The water that falls to the ground during precipitation doesn't just sit there, it starts moving according to the landscape. It collects in rivers, lakes, oceans, and even underground. This is the collection phase where water gathers and pools together, waiting for the sun to warm it up again, starting the cycle of evaporation. 6. Infiltration. This is a cool part where water actually seeps into the ground through the soil and rock layers. Some of this water will go deep enough to become part of underground reservoirs called aquifers, which can store water for a very long time. Plants and wells can tap into this water source. The change here is from surface water, like rivers and lakes, into groundwater. Throughout the entire water cycle, water changes its state from liquid in lakes, rivers, and oceans to gas as water vapor in the air, and sometimes to solid as ice or snow. Then it can change back again, moving from one state to another as it travels through the cycle. It's like a magic trick that nature performs, turning water into different forms and moving it all around the planet. The water cycle keeps going round and round, moving water all over the Earth. It's a never-ending cycle that recycles water, which is super important for everything living on our planet. Isn't it cool how nature has its own way of recycling water, just like we recycle paper and plastic? Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.